If you want to grow your OnlyFans agency, then I am sorry, Charlie, but one of the necessary evils is you're going to have to hire people and you're going to have to train them and you're going to have to manage them. Most of the time, these people are probably going to come from a little country in Asia called the Philippines. And maybe it's a cultural difference, but they are not always easy to manage. However, as your local resident OnlyFans management super genius, I'm going to bestow upon you my opinions, as I do, about how to get the most out of your virtual assistants. What's up, Yalapapi, simphunter.com. And in this video, as I said, I'm going to talk about how to get the most out of your VAs, because the difference, okay, OFM is a weird business. OFM is the type of thing we forget it's a business, right? We don't think of it as a business because everybody's doing black hat shit, and black hat, it's really hard to build a business on black hat marketing, because black hat marketing at its core is not really a business. It's like a little hack. It's like a little tweak that you did to get like a free fucking Netflix account or something, and you somehow build a business on that type of thing. It's a little loophole that you are manipulating, taking advantage of. I don't know, whatever the word is. And we are all essentially trying to build a business on a foundation of a bunch of loopholes. And it's very challenging. Now, in order to do this, in order to make this work, you need to hire people. You got to get people. You got to get the chatters. You got to get the fucking people to post on Reddit. You got to get all this shit. So it can be tough. And anyway, the point is that because we all focus 80% of our attention on black hat marketing, we forget that normal business practices also apply when it comes to management and managing people. And then you add to that the cultural difference between most third world countries where virtual assistants come from and most Western countries where the OFM owners come from. And you have a situation that is ripe for misunderstanding. So the first thing I will tell you about how to get the most out of your VAs, number one, and I'm putting this number one for a reason, rule them with an iron fist. Iron fist. You want them to I don't want to say that you want them to be afraid of you. Okay. And I will give you a tip in a later, one of the next points is going to be, it's not all about being a dick, I guess is what I'm saying. Yes. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Let's just define this. What does that mean? Rule them with an iron fist. They need to know that you don't fuck around. For real. You do not fuck around. And I'm not sure what type of person you are. Maybe you're a nice person who doesn't like confrontation. Maybe you're the type of person who thinks that if they just explain it in a way that people understand, that they'll magically do what you ask them to do the first time you ask them to do it. But no, you need to rule them with an iron fist, and they need to understand that, and usually they do. It does happen, but it's rare that you'll get a VA who comes in and starts fucking trying to boss you around. It does happen though. Anyway, the point is that they need to understand that you don't fuck around. And I'm saying this first, but most of the rest of these tips are going to be ways for you to soften that. Okay? Because you don't want to only be an asshole all the time. You need to be the type of person where you can be an asshole, but sometimes you're super nice and they just don't know what you're going to do. They don't know if when you send them a message oh my God, am I in trouble? Did I do something wrong? Or are you going to be really nice and say something super nice? Okay. You want them to be, you're basically like an abusive husband, basically how you want to be. You want to manage your VAs like you're an abusive husband. And the reason for that is because by being an abusive husband, they will fucking run the tightest ship you've ever seen in your life. So that's the reason. Okay. So number one, they need to know you don't fuck around. And I'll tell you how to do that. Okay. So let's just go into the next one. You need to set boundaries. You need to set Well, okay, before we get into setting boundaries, you need to make it very clear what you expect from them. Actually, you know what? Let's back it up even further. Let's back it up. When you hire a VA, you hire them for one thing only. Okay. You don't hire a VA and you're like, okay, I want you to do Reddit and I also want you to do Twitter and I also want you to chat. No. You hire a VA for Reddit. That's all he does. He only does Reddit. He doesn't do anything else. He doesn't fucking think about anything else. His job is Reddit, and that's it. Look, at the end of the day, and I don't want to say anything about their intelligence or any cultural differences, whatever. At the end of the day, you're paying them a very low amount of money, and you can't expect them to do high level work and to work their asses off for a low amount of money. Personally, when I look to hire a VA, I'm going to pay them $300 a month. You get $75 a week. You get paid every week on Monday, and that's it. I'm going to hire you for a fucking mindless menial job, minimal thinking, lots of copy paste. I'm going to need you for 5-6 hours a day, and that's it. If you do this one thing that I ask you to do, I don't care how long it takes you, but that's all I need from you. Just do that one thing. I'll pay you every day or every week on time. And that's it. I won't cause problems in your life. Okay, so hire them for one thing. Now, next point, make it very clear to them what you expect from them. Okay. Now, part of this is training them properly, having training materials that make it very clear what they're supposed to do. Now, a lot of times what'll happen is you'll hire a VA and they won't even go through the training material. It's like the worst is chatters. Anytime I hire chatters, I end up keeping, I would say 1 out of 10. Like I have a training program. I'm like, okay, well, anyway, I don't want to get into it, but like 1 out of 10 make it through the training program. And it's not even that hard. It's like take 30 minutes of your life, read this, take 40 minutes of your life, watch this video, and then come for some role play sessions and don't be like, and just try, really. I was gonna say don't be retarded, but like you could be retarded, but just show me that you're trying. Show me you're putting in effort. And I'm okay if you're retarded. It's fine. Anyway. So be very clear what you expect from them. And the way to do that is to have good training materials and examples. Okay. Examples are key, right? You don't want to just explain to them conceptually what they do. Visual examples. For example, when I would, I don't do this anymore, but when I would onboard new models, I would ask them for, 50 short videos of them twerking or sexy poses or something. Now, what I did originally is I would ask them, I'd be like, okay, we need 50 sexy pictures from you. Now, the problem is that most girls, they don't know anything about lighting. They don't know anything about staging a photo. They don't know how to even pose in a sexy way. They don't. You think they know these things because they're girls and you see girls pose sexy on Instagram, but that's a very small percentage of them that understand their angles and lighting and all that shit. Most of them don't. Most of them have no idea. So I'd have to go and I have to give them examples. I'd be like, I want you to do these pictures and these videos exactly, or like as close as you can. And then I would get better results because I would show them exactly what they need to do and they wouldn't have to think. I would take all of the responsibility of them thinking off of their plate. So make it very clear what you expect of them by training them properly. Now, what is required in order to do this is you need to understand what to do. You can't hire a chatter and not know how to chat because you'll get shit results. I don't care. Oh, yes, I have experience, sir. I have 2 years experience, sir. Do you know how many chatters I saw try to work with 2 years experience who are dog shit? Like I could take my dad, who is 85 years old. It's his birthday today. Actually, I got to call him. 85 years old, doesn't even know how to text. And I could put him on as a chatter and he would be better in fucking 10 minutes than this chatter has been with 2 years. Get the fuck out of here. So anyway, you have to be extremely clear what you expect from them. And that will bring me to my next point. Only hire people with no experience. I don't hire anybody with experience anymore. Okay, well, all right. I don't hire people who have worked in the OnlyFans management industry at all. I do not hire anybody. I don't look. Okay, that's not true. I take that back. I hired somebody the other day. I'll tell you what I'll hire them for. I will hire them for contract work. For example, I needed 10 Instagram accounts made the other day, and I wanted it done quickly. I don't want a full-time employee for that. So I went to the OFM jobs group, and I was like, I need somebody to make these accounts. I'll pay you $5 per account. Send me a DM. Hired somebody. I hired 2 people, actually. One of them was retarded, didn't end up doing the job. The other one did the job. Paid him $50, got my accounts, done. And even then, oh my God, this guy, he asked me. So I had to make these Instagram accounts. And I was like, okay, here's a Chrome extension to go download the content, because I wanted to clone another one of my pages. So I was like, here's a Chrome extension to download the content. And he's like, well, where do I get the story highlights? And I got 10% irritated, because I was like, you could use Google for that, I'm thinking. So I sent him another website. I was like, here, use this to download the story highlights. And he's like, oh man, can you download the story highlights for me? It would just help things go much faster. I'm like, what? I'm paying you to do this. Why are you asking? I'm not your coworker. I'm hiring you. I'm paying you a certain amount to do all the work. I'm not paying you so that we can do it together and be buddies. The quality of the people in that OFM jobs group is dog shit. It is dog shit. The people in there, and I'll tell you why I think, is because the people in there, they are the rejects of the virtual assistant world. Those are people who tried working somewhere and got fired because they were retarded. Yeah, maybe they have some good people in there. Very unlikely. Most of them are fucking retards. Yeah, period. So I like to go to onlinejobs.ph. That is my preferred site to hire Filipino VAs. I do not hire anybody with experience in the OnlyFans management industry. And I'll tell you another point. Here's another point. What do I look for when I hire a VA? What I look for is effort on their application. Well, really what I look for is effort at every stage of the process. For example, one of the things that I ask for on the job application is I'm like, here's all your responsibilities, here's what you do, here's the pay, blah, blah, blah. In order to apply, send me these 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they send me as their application some copy pasted bullshit, okay, they didn't put any effort in, discard it. If they send me the 5 things I asked for, but it's like they don't number them, that's not a lot of effort. If they number them and they like repaste my question and then give a full answer that's like grammatically checked and has good punctuation, I'm like, okay, this person put a lot of, if they put this much effort into their application, imagine how much effort they're going to put into the job. Because how you do one thing is how you do all things. And if you give a shitty job resume, you're going to do a shitty job at the job. So I don't hire anybody with experience. I hire from onlinejobs.ph, and I look for effort. Effort is huge. If you get nothing out of this, when you hire people, you want to look for people. Effort, it's really effort and motivation. Effort and people who are like, oh my God, thank you so much for this job. I really love this job. I'm so glad you gave me this opportunity. It's going to be so amazing for my life. Like, thank you. I can't thank you. Like, on and on and on. People like that are gold. The next one, don't let them use what I call worm talk. All right. Now you see this a lot with fucking Filipino people where it's like, you ask them a question and they don't answer your question. They say some bullshit that's like unrelated to the question. It'd be like, how many people did you message today? Let's talk about a chatter. How many people did you message today? And you've already told them, let's say they need to message 50 people a day. Just nothing. How many people did you message today? Oh, sir, I'm sorry, but, there was a typhoon and my mom is in the hospital. And And it's like, okay, well, that's just an excuse. I can't think of what worm talk is right now. I can't think of an example, but basically, like, you ask them, here, I'll give you a good example, right? I have a video editor. Shout out to my video editor if he's watching this. He's great. You're great. But you did use some worm talk here, and I had to make sure that it was, clarified. Basically, I have this video editor, and we were talking about changing the style of the short form content that I do. And I was like, okay, well, the style that I wanted him to change to was much more complicated. And I told him, I was like, listen, I need you to do this style instead. And because it's more complicated, I'm willing to increase your pay. Like, let's increase your pay. And I said, I'll increase it to this much. And he's trying to negotiate with me. And he's like, okay, well, could we increase it to this much instead? And I was like, okay, well, if we agreed to increase it to that much, would you be able to handle this many videos per week? And he's like, I'll do my best, sir. And I was like, no. This is not paying you to do your best. If I'm going to pay you that much, I need a guarantee that you can produce a certain amount of videos per week, or I have to look for somebody else because I need that many videos. And then finally he was like, yes, you got to hold their feet to the fire and get a clear answer to your question so that it is impossible to misunderstand their answer. If I had let him get away with the, like, I'll do my best answer, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. That means 1 week he might do 10 videos. 1 week he might do 20. That doesn't work for me. I need reliability. Somebody who's reliable. Did I just mute myself? No. Okay. The next one, pay them on time. I like to pay my people weekly because I noticed when I had a job, when I got paid every week, I was way more motivated. I loved that job. I was like, oh, I get paid every week. This is awesome. You feel more connected to the work you do. You're like, oh man, I did all this work and then I got paid this amount. So it's much more, the delay in between you doing a good job and being rewarded for the good job is much shorter. So I feel like that feedback loop, that shorter feedback loop, yes, it's more inconvenient for you to have to pay people every week. Fine. But, it's just better. Like, for them, when I say better for them, it's more motivating for them. And not a lot of companies offer that. That's a really easy way for you to differentiate yourself from other employers by paying them every week. Plus, here's another thing. A lot of Filipinos get ripped off by fucking their employers who don't pay them. It's fucked up. I've done it once, but the guy did some fucked up shit. So I was like, I'm not paying you. It's only happened one time, but unreal. Anyway, I'll tell that story some other time. So pay them on time. Pay them every week. Also, when you pay them every week, like I said, they know that they're going to get paid. They know they're not going to work for 2 weeks or for a month without getting paid, and it'll be good. And then lastly, if they don't implement your feedback, fire them. If they don't implement your feedback, and tell them also that you will fire them before you fire them, right? For example, let's take the chatters, right? I've been trying to hire a lot of chatters lately. And if I go and review chats and I see some dumb bullshit in there, and I see, for example, sending, oh baby, I'm so horny type messages out of the blue, that's not how you chat. You don't do it that way. It's always women chatters that fucking do that shit. They're so stupid. I hate women chatters. They're the worst. I only hire men now. Just because they're like, not that the men are so good, to be honest with you, but like the women, they're just, their brains don't work. Like, I don't know. I almost said racist. I'm racist too, but everybody's racist. Okay. If a chatter does a bad job, right? For example, let's take that example. Okay. Where we said, if the chatter sends the mass message, ooh, baby, I'm so horny. Do you like my, pussy, whatever. If you see that If I see that and I review the chats and I screenshot it and I send it to the chatter and I say, don't do this. I told you not to do this. This is in the training not to do this. Like, they should already know. You know what I mean? Like, they're probably going to get fired anyway. But I will give them a warning. I will tell them once. It's probably more than they deserve, to be honest with you. I will tell them. I'll say, listen, you're not supposed to do this. If I see it again, I'm going to fire you. And then, of course, they're going to do it again because they're dumb as shit, fucking dumb as rocks. Or they just don't care. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe. I don't really know. I don't want to think about it. It just pisses me off. Then just fire them. Get rid of them. And I know it's hard sometimes because, like, you look at the accounts, at least with chatters, right? You look at the accounts and you're like, well, you know, okay, they're managing 6 accounts and they only sold $220 yesterday, but still, you know, $220 is better than nothing, right? It's not. I promise you. The stress is not worth it. And once you hire one fucking killer employee and you see what the potential is, you see, like, oh my God, this guy actually listens. This guy actually does what I say to do. This guy actually follows instructions. This guy actually fills out reports at the end of the day and sends them to me in the format that I want. It's so crazy to me. It's just insane. This is why you have to build your whole team from scratch. And like, you're going to have to hire 10, 20 people to get one good one. So just like start cranking them out, start fucking posting those job ads and just bringing on the good people. Same thing with models, by the way, a little sidetrack here. It's the same thing with models. Most of them are shit. Most of them are garbage. Most of them are terrible. Most of them you're not going to want to work with at all. They have bad attitudes. They're entitled. They're just cunts. So you got to fucking run them through, you know, or run them through the grinder. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, how to get the most out of your VAs. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.